We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
It has been a bad night for honest, respectful democracy.
Yes.
Across the country. And in this race, we did not have the result we wanted. But I am so proud of our campaign.
Hoorah!
Because our campaign was built on honest, respectful, grassroots democracy. I am so proud of the 100,000 doors that were knocked on by people just going door to door, putting their heart out there. I am so proud to have stood shoulder to shoulder with labor unions and with the incredible, powerful support of labor from across the board, calling members, saying this matters for our unions, for prevailing wage, for project labor, for the right to organize. I am proud that we ran this campaign totally differently in the way that we funded it. It was funded with the honest contributions of people making $19 average contribution. There were over 250,000 individual contributions in this race. Just the little contributions, totally different than the way most congressional races are run. And I'm proud of the way that we put out long 5-minute videos really talking honestly and respectfully about real issues that face people instead of 30-second ads. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later, but I am proud of the fact that we named names and called out the billionaires that are trying to buy our democracy. So what we just experienced here in the 19th district is two campaigns. There was one campaign that was kind of like the campaign you could have seen in 1990, where John Faso and I had 6 debates, where we talked to editorial boards, where we answered questions. That was one campaign. But what overwhelmed that campaign, and you heard it popped up in your Pandora. It was infesting your television. What was actually bigger than that campaign was the outside money in this race. This was a race inside the post-Citizens United world. And in that race, it wasn't me against John Faso. It was all of us against a handful of billionaires who were using misleading super PAC attack ads. They spent $7 million. $7 million. When I say they, I'm not talking about John's campaign. I'm talking about super PACs spent $7 million attacking us in this district. That's an outrageous amount of money. And this is, Wall Street bankers, vulture capitalists, men who make their living by selling America out. Men who survive on the tragedy of others. They spent this money on misleading false ads and trying to put the power of our vote in Congress into their pocket. All that money was only possible because of Citizens United. It would have been illegal before 2010. And people would pull me over at a breakfast and say, why is there so much more negativity this year? And the reason is that when you have outside money, it's negative money. When you have outside money, it's misleading money instead of that honest debate between two people. So we called them out. We named them. Paul Singer, venture capitalist. Robert Mercer, hedge fund manager and one of the biggest donors to Donald Trump's campaign. We called them out, and they spent over $500,000 supporting my opponent's super PACs. I challenged them to a debate, And instead of coming forward honestly and engaging, what they did is they answered that challenge, and they answered being named by putting more money into this election. Each one of them put hundreds of thousands of dollars more after we called them out. So our campaign made up of grassroots power, of labor power, of people standing up for our water, responded with courage, with creativity, with grit, with fight. I don't have $500,000 donations. What we had was you. Every time they tried to shut us up with another $1 million super PAC contribution, we responded with another 10,000 people reaching into their pocket and giving $19.